Good morning. My name is Mark Krikorian. I'm Executive Director of the Center for Immigration Studies. All of our work is online at CIS.org, including research on the impacts of immigration and the management of immigration. The point of which is to try to shed some light in the debate over such an important national issue. But the report we're releasing today is different from our other research because it examines not the impacts of immigration, but whether we can have a debate on immigration. The accusation of racism is the most serious charge you can make against someone in modern America, comparable to accusations in the past of being a leper, a witch, or a communist. The charge of racism is so incendiary that even mass murderer Jeffrey Dahmer felt it necessary to deny that his crimes were motivated by it. This man, a cannibalistic necrophiliac killer, went to great lengths to assure a relative of one of his victims that, in her words, quote, "He was not a prejudiced person. It wasn't out of race that he killed these young men," unquote. When a taboo is that strong, someone is going to exploit it for political ends. And that's just what we've seen in the immigration debate. The advocacy groups lobbying for legalization of illegal immigrants and for increased legal immigration have long hurled accusations of racism at their opponents, but that had never been at the center of their message. The more respectable groups on that side of the debate always were clear that not all critics of mass immigration and amnesty were driven by invidious motives. But over the last couple of years, as they've found that their efforts to persuade lawmakers and the public have not been bearing fruit, to put it mildly, these accusations have become a major, if not the major, focus of pro-amnesty lobbying. Their goal is not to win the debate over immigration, but to shut it down altogether, to persuade journalists, policymakers, and other opinion leaders to shun those who disagree with organizations on the pro-amnesty mass immigration side of the issue, such that these groups have made clear that no one skeptical of immigration should be considered a legitimate voice. And this is very clear from the fact that there is no significant critic of high levels of immigration or legalization who has not been specifically attacked as nativist, xenophobic, fill in the adjective du jour. The escalation of efforts to shut down debate from what was once just a casual throwaway line to what is now a coordinated effort, lavishly funded by the pro-amnesty foundations, finally convinced us that it warranted a deeper explanation, a deeper exploration, focused specifically on the Southern Poverty Law Center, whose work on this issue underlies this whole smear campaign. And that's the purpose of the report we're releasing today, Immigration and the SPLC. And the author is going to present a summary of his findings, and then we're going to have two responses. Jerry Kammer is the author of the report and a senior research fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. He's a longtime journalist, covered a variety of issues for the Arizona Republic. His coverage of Mexico won him the Robert F. Kennedy Award for humanitarian journalism. Later he worked at Copley News Service, which is mainly the San Diego Union Tribune, and in 2006 he won the Pulitzer Prize for his work in exposing the Duke Cunningham congressional bribery scandal. Then we'll have two responses, first from Ken Silverstein, who's the Washington editor of Harper's Magazine and author of an article called The Church of Morestis in the November 2000 issue of the magazine, which was about the SPLC. Finally, Carol Swain will respond. She's a professor of political science and a professor of law at Vanderbilt University, and an author of a couple of books that are relevant, The New White Nationalism in America, Its Challenge to Integration, and editor of Debating Immigration, both published by Cambridge University Press. Let me reiterate before we get started, this has nothing to do with the substance of what our nation's immigration policy should be. I expect the four of us up here don't agree on what enforcement policy should look like, what levels of immigration policy should look like, or anything else. But that's not the point of this exercise. The point here is it permitted to have a debate over an important national issue, or should those who disagree with the elite consensus be silenced?